we're gonna talk a little bit about this debacle going on in the House with Republicans not nominating Kevin McCarthy. I mean, let's be serious. Like, Kevin McCarthy is the best person to be the Republican Speaker of the House. And I'm not speaking in terms of like liking or disliking him. I'm just saying like he fits the bill. Kevin McCarthy's been in the party for a very long time. Everybody knows who he is in terms of the base, especially. He's somebody that it makes sense for him to be there. You know what I mean? And we're going to go over these numbers because there were 6 failed votes. And I think the first vote was like, and I will confirm from numbers from Axios, but I believe off the top of my head, and again, we'll look in a sec, but off the top of my head, it was 203 in the first vote. And then like, it never went below 201. And out of all 6 votes, it never went below 201. So there's just this small patch of Republicans who are like, no, I'm not going to vote for Kevin McCarthy. But again, the thing about that is it's like, what's the damn difference? Like, who cares? What's the difference, right? Like, first and foremost, the Republican Party doesn't control the Senate right now. We're in a lame duck session. Everybody knows that. This is an incumbent. More likely than not, Joe Biden is going to have a second term, especially given the fact that the Republican Party is so goddamn messy right now. And unless Joe Biden drops out of the race, then whoever's going to be a great option has yet to present themselves. So unless any of that changes, more likely than not, just like pretty much every other presidency in history, most incumbents win their second election because it's easy to, you feel me? But again, it's like they're holding on for dear life. People like Lauren Boebert and even Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, and we'll look at that too, because she was saying conservatives are in conservative fairyland. I mean, conservative la la land or some shit like that. But it's like, I mean, seriously, like if this is the best that they can do, and like I said, we do not know what kind of a campaign Ron DeSantis is going to run. We don't. We can't just assume that, oh, he's gonna run a great campaign. We don't know that. So, in politics, you can make predictions, but sometimes you really just got to wait to see a little bit more. Right now, I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Like, why not Kevin McCarthy? Why not? Like just looking at it from a plain blank political perspective, Kevin McCarthy should be the Republican Speaker of the House. So it's ridiculous. The Republican, but again, we can use that to our advantage. We really can use that to our advantage moving forward. Not just in the 2024 elections, in the elections before that, at any level of government. Local elections especially are very important to be involved in because local government can make more sudden change in policy. I always use as an example where I'm from in St. Louis, the town I grew up in is called University City. And they had a program where every child who went through the public school system in University City, once they entered kindergarten, they had a public college fund opened up for them. And as they did well in school, as they, like if they made good grades, if they participated in extracurricular activities and just kind of did well and really tried to make something of themselves, they could graduate high school with $500 saved up. That money coming from things like parking tickets and parking meters, because evidence has shown that if high school graduates enter college with even just a little bit of savings, they're more likely to finish school and more likely to just feel confident and, things like that. And again, that's just direct legislation that can be snapped into place pretty quickly, just with like, city council members and mayors and shit like that. So I say that to say we can use all of this, again, Republican chaos to our advantage, especially in 2028, because honestly, that's where most people are really looking. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody kind of is like, what are we really dealing with here? Unless Trump gets thrown in jail or some shit, then he's not going to willingly back out of the race. That's not happening. And even though his grip is slipping, he still has a grip. He does. And like I said, everything about Ron DeSantis and shit like that, we have to see. There's definitely a great possibility that he could just sweep Trump, but we'll see. Let's see how things play out. But does he have the charisma? Because Trump has less to lose than him. So we'll see what happens. It'll definitely be interesting. Absolutely, more investment in education is needed. Jazzy, you said if I was a Democrat, I'd be. Hold on, let me put it up here. Actually, you said if I was a Democrat, I'd be sitting in the chamber smoking my house with the yak, watching all of these miserable people suffer. Hell yeah, I'll be doing something similar. I would absolutely be doing something similar. Like, it's because again, it's so stupid. It's like, well, just fucking put Kevin McCarthy into the speaker position. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing? But again, we're gonna look at some of these clips now because it's pretty interesting. So let's check this out. This is Sean Hannity with Lauren Boebert. And again, because this really is ridiculous. Like, just from a political strategic perspective, like, what are y'all doing? So here we go. Let's check this out.
When we get this right, 30. I will not, Sean. I will not withdraw. Our asks were not petty of Kevin McCarthy. They were not self-serving. We simply were asking for commitments on what the American people want to see. They want to see a vote on term limits, a vote on the Texas border plan to secure the southern border. And for crying out loud, Sean, we asked for a vote on a budget that actually balances. Imagine a Congress that stops spending money that we don't have. We are going to get this right, and we are going to get the right speaker, Sean.
If you only have 30, to be clear, you will not withdraw. 30 is going to be
a beautiful number to reach.
But you're telling Kevin McCarthy and the 203 people that support him to withdraw because they don't have 218. That's what you're saying.
Look, it's obvious by tonight's motion to adjourn that Kevin McCarthy and his supporters are already getting voter fatigue. And
I asked you a simple question, Congresswoman. I feel like I'm getting a liberal
I'm not going
an
to
answer
support
from a
Kevin
liberal.
McCarthy, Sean.
Okay, so even if you only have 30 votes,
Kevin McCarthy,
you will not abide by what you told President Trump to abide by.
Which I don't believe I will be.
I feel like we've made progress.
Look, I love President Trump. You're not going to turn me on him. You're not going to pit him against me.
Not trying to pit him against you. That's what you said to him.
And I am standing. I have seen the broken trust. I have seen the lack of accountability. Well, we are getting phone calls saying that we need to stop this. Kevin does not have the votes for speaker. Period.
So again, we're looking at Lauren Boebert, and now we're going to look at contrast Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's just as nuts as she is, with a bit of a different take that actually makes more sense. Like, just fucking vote for Kevin McCarthy. What are y'all doing? Like, again, because what's the fucking difference in their policy positions? There's no difference, and they don't have the Senate. So who gives a fuck who leads the Republican Party for the next 2 years? It doesn't matter. Like, but again, let's use it to our advantage. Jazzy, I like this comment. You said, Joe Biden getting a second term would be so sad. There's so many young, progressive, strong leaders out here just waiting for the turn. Tired of these deceptive cadavers running this country. Absolutely true. And, there's definitely there's always an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is, in terms of 2024, is if there's going to be a very good candidate to beat Joe Biden, then we just have to see who's going to enter the race. And more likely than not, whoever that person's going to be is probably going to be somewhere in the 2028 range, because incumbent presidents are difficult to beat. And with the Republican Party being such a mess right now, unfortunately, again, I'm just speaking reality. I'm not talking how I feel about it. I'm just saying how this shit is what it is right now. Unfortunately, the Democrats are going to be able to take advantage of the Republican chaos and be like, oh, well, things are going great right now. Everything's cool. Like, we really don't need a change in ship. And that doesn't mean that Joe Biden isn't, unbeatable, but somebody whoever that person's going to be, they kind of got to enter the race last week. Not like enter it officially, but who is it? You feel me? Like, where's the noise? Where's the chatter? You feel me? Like, there's been like charts that have gone up of people that really don't make sense to run unless Joe Biden does not run for a second term, which is possible. But We have to see if that happens. You feel me? Like we can't just bank on like, oh, he's not gonna run. Like maybe he won't run, but maybe the motherfucker will run. You know what I'm saying? So if the motherfucker runs, then that's just what it is. Right. And exactly like you said, it is about the bag. It is about the money. And that's not all. It's not a bad thing always if we had a better leader in office, because again, incumbents are difficult to beat, not necessarily because all of them are corrupt, but because there's already an infrastructure in place. And when there's a new administration, you got to hire a bunch of new people, and you got to get new advertisement behind you, and you have to build new allies for. So in terms of process, a lot of process gets in the way of shit too. So that's often why in fresh races, when whoever it is had, Donald Trump just pissed the country off so much that he lost his second race. George Bush, he lost his second race. There have been presidents who have lost their second race, but it's not typical. Again, mostly just because the infrastructure is already there. FDR, he won what? He won. Didn't FDR get elected 4 times, I believe, or some shit like that? I'm pretty sure he was elected 4 times. That didn't have to be the case. You know what I'm saying? Now we have a sure and solid 2-term limit. But, if we can get good leaders in office, it's easier to keep them there because they got the infrastructure. They got the motherfuckers hired. They got you know what I'm saying? So that's why it's always a big win whenever we can get a solid person in any powerful position, because now the motherfuckers is in there. You know what I'm saying? So if they worth a damn, then they going to earn the trust and the love and respect of the people. And then we can keep the show rolling. You feel me? We just got to stay committed and dedicated. Now let's go on to, again, we just saw what Lauren Boebert was saying about. We just saw what Lauren Boebert was saying. Basically, again, she's one of like 30 people who don't want to vote for Kevin McCarthy, and Marjorie Taylor Greene has a completely different opinion, which actually, again, makes more sense. It's like, again, when it comes to politics, this shit, there's opportunities to change things at different times in different areas. We got 50 states going on with thousands of cities. You know what I'm saying? We got to make these relationships and connections like a spider web all throughout this motherfucker, so we never get too down about any of the battles we lose. You know what I'm saying? Like we got all these battles going on at the same time. So if we lose a couple over here, over there, we don't got our emotions too dug up in it. You feel me? We keep the show rolling. But now, let's go on to Marjorie Taylor Greene to see what she had to say, because it was very different. Hold on, let me reload this. Unless I'm like doing screen shares and stuff, I typically am on. Websites are so much more user-friendly on phones now than they are on computers. Computers are just always riddled with not that phones aren't, but man. All right, let's go. We'll see what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say. Of course.
All right. I'm standing here in front of the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C., and inside is the...
We just saw Byron Donalds only got 20 people. Byron Donalds is not going to gain any support. He's not even a serious candidate. They have run in 2 days, Charlie, the same...
Oh, come on. Okay, if this doesn't work, then I'll just give you the bulk of what she says, because I know what she says. Basically, it's just the antithesis of what Lauren Boebert was saying, but we'll see.
All right, I'm standing here in front of the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C., and inside is the first jury trial.
Well, you just saw Byron Donalds only got 20 people. Byron Donalds is not going to gain any support. He's not even a serious candidate. They have run in 2 days, Charlie. The same group have run 3 different speaker candidates. Jim Jordan is flat out telling everyone, I do not want to be Speaker of the House. He wants to be Chairman of the Judiciary, and we need him to be Chairman of the Judiciary. He told Matt Gaetz to his face right in front of me on the House floor yesterday, Matt, I do not want to be Speaker. I want to chair Judiciary. Why are you doing this? That was said right in front of me. Jim Jordan also got asked by the press yesterday in the hallways here in the Capitol. That's on video. They asked him about being Speaker, and he said, I don't want to be Speaker. I want to chair Judiciary. He's ready for investigation. And people, it is lying. Okay, when you have Matt Gaetz and the rest of the group going out there saying Jim Jordan's going to be Speaker, but yet Jim Jordan doesn't want to be Speaker, that's lying to the American people, Charlie, and I'm not going to support any lying to the American people. All I can do is come on your show and keep going out there and telling the truth of what is political reality, because we can't live in conservative fantasy land, although I share those same conservative fantasies with the group of 20. But you can't do real work there because it's not real. We have political reality, and political reality is that Kevin McCarthy just completely held strong, and so did the 20. So we just have a battle of wills going on right now.
It is a
Now, minus the one thing she said in there where she says she doesn't stand for lying to the American people. If you didn't know anything about Marjorie Taylor Greene, she would sound like just a normie, like just a regular person. Because, again, this whole saga of, these 30 people who are just standing against nominating Kevin McCarthy really doesn't make sense. It's like, what are y'all doing? Again, there's no difference in y'all policy positions anyway. So especially for the next 2 years, who fucking cares? But shit. We can keep the popcorn going. And these are the numbers again in terms of the voting. Out of the 6 votes. Again, it never went, like I said, it never went below 201. The first vote, 203. Second, 203. Third, 202. And the fourth, fifth, and sixth were 201. But those the what it's like, what are y'all just go stay voting against it? I mean, shit again. And that's another one of those things. I guess, I somewhat have to admire your strength and how big of a numbskull you are.